Hey everybody, here's your key for homework 4.3, indirect proofs and triangle inequalities. We're not going to worry about the indirect proofs for now, so no stress about that. Let's just talk about the triangle inequalities. Alright, let's take a look at this first triangle. Because I know that this side is congruent to itself, and these two sides are congruent to each other, because angle 2 is opposite the larger side, angle 2 is going to be larger than angle 1. Because I have two sets of congruent sides, I know that my larger side is going to be opposite my larger angle. So the distance from E to F is going to be greater than the distance from B to C. Okay, I've got a right triangle here. So I know that this is a 90-degree angle, and I know this is a 90-degree angle. So because my angles are equal, so will the measures of the distances of the sides opposite them. So one is smaller, BC is smaller, and these two are equal. All right, let's check these out. Now, because I have vertical angles, I know that these are the same. So if I look at the distance from M to N and Q to P, they're going to have to be equal because the angles are the same. When I look at my included angle, my angle 1 is opposite 16, my angle 2 is opposite 12. This is my smaller, so I know that angle 2 is going to be smaller than angle 1. All right, let's check this out. I know that this side is equal to itself, and I'm talking about this distance here from A to D, so I'm going to need this angle measurement here. I'm comparing this to BC, so I'm going to need this angle measurement here, so I'm okay. Because this is 45, so is this one. So I know that the distance from A to D is going to be larger than the distance from B to C. All right, let's take a look at 7 in triangle ABC and triangle XYZ. We've got all these information, so I struggle to get through this without drawing a picture. So here's A and B and C, and then I'm going to draw, before I do this, I know that AB is congruent to YZ, so I know that Y and Z are going to look, we'll go ahead and put them in the same place. AC is going to be congruent to YX, so we'll put X here, and we'll say those two angles, or those two sides are congruent. The distance from B to C is 9. The distance from X to Y is 11, and the measure of angle A is 47 degrees. Sketch and label each triangle with the measure and congruence marking. Which of the following is a possible measure for angle Y? All right. So if BC is 9 and XY is 11, I'm wondering, I don't have enough information. I'm wondering if they needed to talk about this being XZ, because without knowing this side, if this is 9 and this is 47, I don't know anything about the angle Y. Do I? So I'm thinking that this needs to be 11. I'm thinking this is a mistake. So let's go ahead and say that it was XZ, and this is 11. Then angle Y would have to be bigger than 47. So nope, 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 just this. So we need to make sure that this says XZ instead. So if we're talking about it as written, we're going to say not enough information But I think as it was intended, that's what they were going for in orange. So we'll talk about this in class, no big deal. It could have been a mess up. Let's see if we have better luck with this one. In diagram, AB is congruent to DE, and BC is congruent to EF, and AC is 10, and the measure angle B is 60, E is 30, which is the following possible lengths for DF. Okay, so this one's okay. And since this is bigger, this has to be this measure of the distance from D to F has got to be bigger than 10. So nope, nope, yep. So justify your answer. So we'll say because the measure of angle E is greater than the measure of angle B, the distance from D to F has to be greater than the distance from A to C. Sound good? All right, let's hop over to the next page. Okay, so here we have some review for your quiz that's coming up, writing the measures of the triangles in order from least to greatest. So because this is my greatest angle, I know that US has to be my biggest side. So the distance from U to S is going to be bigger than the distance from, here's my next biggest, S to T, which is going to be bigger than the distance from U to T. So when we talk about writing the measures of the triangles from least to greatest, we can talk about the sides. Side length UT is my smallest, side length ST is next, and side length US. So here's where we're talking about measures, and here's where we're talking about sides. Okay, let's talk about these angles. I know angle H is going to be my smallest, and then I know that opposite angle J is going to be my next smallest, and then my largest angle here is going to be angle I. If I'm asked to list the measures, I know that the measure of angle H is smaller than the measure of angle J, which is smaller than the measure of angle I. And for those of you who struggle with their inequality sign, if it helps you use another color, maybe that'll help. All right, decide if it's possible to construct a triangle having the given side lengths. My two smallest angle or side lengths, the sum of them have to be bigger than this. So when I add 13 and 14, I get 27. Therefore, yes, a triangle is possible because that's bigger than my larger side. When I add together my two smaller, 9 plus 8 is 17, and that's the same. Therefore, no, this cannot be a triangle. Okay. A triangle has one side of 8 millimeters and another side of 11. Sketch the triangle and describe the possible lengths of the third side. So if I have an 8, an 11, and an x, I know that x plus 8 has to be bigger than 11. I know that 8 plus 11 has to be bigger than x. And I know that 11 plus x has to be bigger than 8. Each side takes its turn on the other side of the inequality. So x has to be bigger than 19. I know that that's not 19, that's 3. I know that 19 has to be bigger than x. There's my 19. And this is my one that's silly because x is bigger than 8 as it is. So I know that when I'm writing my boundaries for what x is allowed to be, it's got to be bigger than 3 and smaller than 19. All right, so there's no indirect proofs on the quiz, but we'll go ahead and talk about this one anyway. Given ABC is not congruent to angle DBC, I know that these are going to be two different angle measures. Prove that BD is not perpendicular. All right, so What are you trying to prove is not possible? So we're trying to prove that segment BC is not perpendicular to segment AD. What is the opposite of that? That BC is perpendicular to AD. Write statements that logically follow from this assumption. All right, so we're going to go ahead. Here's our statements. And our justifications. Squeeze that in. All right, so our statements is we are given, whoops, I'll put our given over here. Given angle ABC is, here's not congruent to angle DBC. So that means that the measure of angle ABC does not equal the measure of angle DBC. That's what we're given. So we're trying to prove that these two are perpendicular. By the way, this is my definition of congruence. All right, so I know that angle ABC and angle CBD are a linear pair. So then I have a definition of linear pair. I know that angle ABC and angle CBD are supplementary, and that is my linear pair postulate. So I know they have a sum. I know that they have a sum of, so the measure of angle ABC plus the measure of angle CBD are equal to 180. Okay, and that is my definition of supplementary. All right, let's think about where I'm going here. I know that I'm trying to prove that they're not. I'm saying that they are perpendicular, which would be my assumption. So let's say that they are perpendicular, and I know that they are equal as a sum to 180 degrees. If they are perpendicular, then I would say if BC was perpendicular to AD, then the measure of angle, actually it wouldn't be the measure, it would be angle ABC and angle CBD are going to be right angles, and that is my definition of perpendicular. So then I would say that angle ABC is going to be congruent to angle CBD, and I know that because all right angles are congruent. And guess what? I'm thinking I might not have even needed this part, because when I have here all right angles are congruent, and here I said that they weren't allowed to be equal to each other, I can conclude that they are not perpendicular, therefore angle ABC and angle CBD are not congruent, so the lines are not perpendicular. indirect proof. All right, good luck on your quiz.